Hello everyone and welcome to an episode of Handmade Hero where we are doing, I think, the second to last of our 4coder customization streams. We're going to try and switch to 4coder next week because we were on RSI break and I really needed to play around with the editors to potentially see if we could make it a little easier on our hands. So that is exactly what we have done, and we're pretty far along at this point. Obviously, for those of you who don't know, I'll just quickly say again, 4coder is an editor that one of the folks from the chat, Alan Webster, has been working on. You can support him on Patreon. If you do, you get a copy of 4coder, actually, that you can use just like we're using. So check it out. And I am right in the middle of trying to get all of the stuff that I could do in Emacs working in 4coder. And we're not that far, actually, from being able to do exactly that. So at the moment, here's our 4coder Casey file. And essentially what we've done is we've bound all of the keys that we had in Emacs to the equivalents in 4coder. And then we essentially, made sort of stub functions, if you will, just placeholder functions, for all the stuff that we didn't actually have that was directly in 4coder. And as you can see here, there's not that many. There's something like 15 things or so that are not in 4coder, and some of these are a little bit heavyweight that might take a bit of doing, but others of them are actually totally trivial to do in 4coder. They're just like basically macros. So like this one we can totally do. This one I think we can totally do. This one we can totally do. And so at least some of them are going to be pretty easy for us to do, and so we're just going to go ahead and do them. The other ones might be a little more difficult, and so we will take a crack at some of them, and then we're just going to kick it back to Alan and be like, here's what we've got, what can you do for us? And that'll be where we'll leave it, and we'll try to do some coding with it. Next week will be an experiment with that, and hopefully then we'll be at the point where we can jump back into Handmade Hero with the new editor, and hopefully hands that are not doing poorly as well. So let's take a look. Where do we leave off? So Casey load to do was a function that just loads my to do file. And so I think that one I'm just going to leave here as a as not really a, well, you know what, we could probably actually make it work though, because like we have in Handmade, let's see here, handmade.h, right, we have like our little to-do that's just a little notes we've been keeping of stuff we should be doing in Handmade Hero. So we could actually go and put that in a to-do file, so maybe, and then we could write that function. So we could do something here, like just do to-do.text or something. I don't know, seems like a reasonable thing. And then I could just grab this out and put it in there. Right, and then we could have the same feature right on Handmade Hero, because why not, right? It seems like a totally sane thing that we might want to do. So if this is our to-do file, which is to-do.text, then in here I've got to implement something which, whenever you hit the T key, it's supposed to pop over to that to-do file. If it's open, we just want to switch to the buffer. If it's not open, then we want to open the buffer and then switch to the buffer. So that's really all we have to do, and we know that some of that's probably pretty easy, but I don't really have much experience with 4coder except for the basics that we've done so far, so not sure. Now, I seem to recall, and I could be wrong, but I seem to recall that there actually was in Alan's examples some stuff that kind of worked like this. So here you can kind of see some stuff that's very relevant, right? And to some other things that we might want to do here, right? You can kind of see that there's like some testing of buffer names and that sort of stuff. So I'm going to kind of just take a quick look through here and see what the closest stuff is that Alan's already done, so that that can kind of guide our understanding of how we're supposed to call 4coder to do the things that we actually want to do. So let's take a look here. We've got switch to file in quotes. Switch to file in quotes is probably exactly what we want, right? And you can even see here, like, here's a thing that opens a file. So yeah, I think this is basically, this is going to be kind of a done deal. It's going to be a cut and paste job. He's already shown us, like, I think what we need to see. All right, so switch to file in quotes. We don't need the part here where he's doing the parsing, right? Because we don't have that problem. We know that we're trying to switch to to-do.txt. So really all we're looking for is this part here. So after he does this stuff, this right here is, I think, the majority of what we needed, right? I think that's basically it. So here is the code that says, hey, give me back the buffer that corresponds to this name. And in this case, we know what that actually is. We want to, like, full on hard code that, at least at the moment. And just say that that's going to be handmade to-do.txt, I believe, or is it code to-do.txt, I guess? Handmade code to-do.txt, yeah. So we're just going to say that, like, this is the to-do file. Excuse me. So I'm just going to say, hey, man, could you load that up for me? And if it turns out that it doesn't want to load it up for me, then I'll say, okay, load it, right? You can see after what it's doing, it's like, okay, go ahead and push the parameter of this file name that we're trying to have here, and open it. Now, I don't know what expand stir does, so I'm not sure that that's necessary. I'm guessing that it's probably not. I feel like we probably don't need that, but I don't know. So I'm guessing we can just do this. I'm also guessing that we need to define buffer. There it is. But that, I don't know, that might be mostly it, right? We got to get a view, it looks like. Yeah, so I guess we don't really care. So we just do that. Seems reasonable. Yeah. So this is a point I should bring up again, because I think Alan was sort of saying this on Twitter, but I'm in the same, I haven't actually changed my mind on it. So I just wanted to kind of say it one more time, now I think about it. So this stuff here, like delete after command, and you do like get active file view and do this stuff, I just wanted to underscore, because I think this is important. So when you're writing editor functions, you want to be able to just write them and assume that they work, right? And there's always going to be plenty of times when the thing that you're trying to do doesn't apply to a certain situation. So for example, in this case, there might not be an active view at the time that delete after command gets called. Who knows why? I mean, probably there always would be, because I'm not sure how that would actually happen, but let's just assume, for sake of argument, that there is, because there probably is, right? Or maybe there's a weird circumstance that could happen. You don't ever want anything to crash, right? So you want to make it very hard for the user to write anything that's going to crash. So what I think that the way the 4coder API should work, or any editor API for that matter, is that when you say get active file view, you'll get back one with exist set to false, right? And that's good. It tells you that there is no view in case you wanted to know. But then all of this stuff should just not do anything at that point, right? So all of the functions should just, when you pass them a null whatever it is, should just silently not do anything. So that you don't have to worry about creating it. Now that may already be what 4coder does, I'm not sure, but I couldn't quite tell what Alan was saying about it, so I just wanted to underscore the fact that I think that's really important, because you really just want this code to look like this. That's what it should look like. Because it's not like you were going to do anything else, right? And so the only time that you actually want to check stuff like view exists is when you actually are going to take some other action if the view doesn't exist, right? And so the classic example was what we just kind of hit here, which is buffer exists. In this case, I have two different things I want to do. So this makes perfect sense for me to test it. But in the case of the view, I don't want to test that. There should be no need for the calling code to test that. If I just say, hey, view set file, and I pass it a view that doesn't exist, you just don't do it. And that's fine, right? So that's just all I wanted to say about that. So basically, like, I don't know whether Alan was saying that it already works that way and I can just delete these or what. So I'm hoping that I just can, if that makes sense. I don't know. But yeah. Yeah, I think that's a valid assertion, right? Because if we start at a cursor position and we exec a delete after, oh, but we might go left or right. So this is actually a little bit wrong. We don't want to do that assertion. We want to do a swap here, essentially. We want to swap those two. And I had a thing that sort of did that. And this seems like something that maybe 4coder would have built into it, but I don't actually know if it does or if it doesn't. But like the range thing here is kind of that. So I'm going to do a thing that's like inline make range int A int B. And then what that's going to do is that's going to return me a range, and it's going to literally do this, right? So this way I don't ever have to think about that, because I don't ever want to think about that. I just want a range to just work. I don't want to care about which of the two parameters is like the right one. So I'm just going to have that up here, and if 4coder already has that, I'll switch to theirs, or if they want to take this one and have a standard one, then we'll just use that. But for now, we'll say that that's how that goes. So this is just going to be like, you know, all right. So I'm going to do make range. I'm going to say pose 1, pose 2. And then I can just in here say, all right, range min, range max. And then I know that they're always good. So I don't know, 4coder may already do that stuff in there, but I kind of need that for my code anyway, so I still want the ability to do that range thing. All right, so that's that. Let's go back to our to-do situation here. So there's our to-do. Let's see if that compiles. And it does not. What that does should be returning something first of all, for starters, and then that's probably correct now. Okay. So the view is file view summary. There we go. Get buffer by name function. Cannot convert it to string. So that must be what the string expand is for. I guess. Do we know what that does? Should we know what that does? Let's find out. 4coder helper. String expand stir. That's expand string. I seem to recall him calling expand stir. Yeah, he called expand str. So where's expand str from? Is that just from 4coder custom.h? I don't know where that's from. I'm very confused. Well, I could grep for it. Oh, there's like a whole string library. Wow. Okay. I guess there's a string library in here. As it turns out. You learn something new every day. Okay. So there's a string library, and expand str is is .str and .size. I have no idea what that's supposed to do. So that's obviously not for C strings. He must have been doing that. I gotta go look at 4coder custom. File name must have been something swankier. No, it's just a regular. I have no idea what that's supposed to do. I guess that's saying. I guess that's just saying, hey, I have no idea. So that's actually kind of perplexing to me. So let's just take a look at what that does, because I don't understand. So we're saying I can do an expand str of, oh, it's the underscore. There it is. Okay, so it's actually file name, which does have those two members. That makes much more sense. I'm like, what on earth? I had no idea what that was. Now I understand. Okay, so basically this is wrapping this up. So really, this push parameter just wants me to pass this, yeah. So this is not really confusing. All I have to do is pass the to-do file name and however big it is, right? And I know how big it is because I can just do a strlen to find out, even if it wasn't a constant, right? So even that was passed in. So that's actually totally trivial, I think. And we don't have to care about any of that stuff. Get buffer by name. Let's go ahead and grab that. There. And maybe I should then take this opportunity to go look and use his string classes, because they probably make that more straightforward. So get buffer too many arguments for call. Really? Get buffer by name. Oh, so that was not actually necessary. That one just takes it as a null terminated string. It's weird that some things take it as a null terminated string and other things take it as a length string. That's a bit weird. I feel like taking things as a length string in general is probably a better idea on the whole, but yeah. Cannot convert argument 2 from... Oh, pfft. The instant I say that, it turns out that I actually just need to pass it as an actual string. All right, so I'm basically forced to use this particular thing. Okay. So at that point, I don't actually know. Can I just do this? Does this work? Because then, if that does work, then hey, that seems fine. Like that. Go. All right, so now we've got this casey load to do, which in theory, when we push the T key, would load the to-do.txt file. So let's go ahead and see if it does. Because in theory, that should just work. So let's see. To-do.txt loading. So it did open a to-do.txt, but it doesn't look like it opened the right to-do.txt. So I wonder if this is wrong. W handmade code to-do.txt. So it feels like that should have worked. App get buffer by name to do file name. If buffer exists, view set file. Otherwise, push parameter expand string, exec command, command interactive open. It kind of feels like that should have worked. But it didn't seem to. And I'm not exactly sure why. So here I am in the other panel. Let's try it again. So it definitely switches to the buffer properly, if that makes sense. It definitely switches to the buffer properly for whatever that is worth at the moment, sir. So that's good. But if the buffer is not there, then not so much. So if I kill this buffer, kill it, and then I'm like, okay, I need you to load the actual file, please. It doesn't look, and it also kind of sits at the loading thing for a while. It feels like that should maybe go away. I don't know. So I'm not sure. I'm not super sure I know what's going on here. So I'm not sure if that's a bug or if that's a normal thing or what. And I'm going to go take a quick look at it, but otherwise I'm just going to leave it because I think we mostly got it, and we'll let Alan tell us what we did wrong there rather than try to work it out ourselves. I'm not sure if there was maybe some information in here about how I have to load things. Is there any kind of thing that shows an example of a path name? I mean, that basically looks the same, you know, as what I'm passing here. And I'm not spelling it wrong, am I? Oops. Gotta love those DOS backslashes. So that looks okay. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm also not sure I understand CMDID interactive open. I guess I didn't realize that could open files that didn't exist either. Because I felt like I was having trouble doing that before, so I assumed it couldn't do it. Like, so if I'm here and I come into this thing, I didn't think I could just type in an arbitrary thing like foo.txt. Like, see, if I hit return in open on the foo.txt, I can't open that file, which doesn't exist. Which is unfortunate because I actually want to be able to do that. I would like to be able to open files that don't exist from there, so I don't need a separate command for new. But then, so I'm not sure why I can do stuff like do t and have it apparently create a file. I'm not sure. So very confused, but I'm going to let Alan tell us what's wrong there because I think that may be something that someone who knows the internals is more equipped to do for us, right? So I'm also going to do a custom command sig here called load handmade. And what I want to do with load handmade is I want to just load like basically everything that there is. And I don't know how hard that would be to do, but I'm going to see if we can. So let's take a look in here and see what we've got for options. So command is now open a file specifier the parameter stack. The file does not exist. Command open behaves as usual. I'm going to turn in my file. So I'm not sure how we would necessarily figure out what all the files are in a directory. Which is what we would need to do, I think, unless it supports opening by wildcard, which I don't assume that it does. At least I'm assuming that there's no such thing as wildcard support. Yeah. So what we probably want to do here is look at build search and see how it figures it out. So if directory has file, so it looks like there's some things in that app. It looks like there's some things in that app doodad here. 4coder custom. Let's see. Here it is. So let's see what we have here. Get hotsig. Do not know what that means. Get cdsig. Directory has file sig. So it looks like this is probably at the moment a little bit too, it doesn't quite have everything we might need. Like we can't glob, right? Like we can't say, give me all the things that are in this. So I'm going to do kind of the poor man's version of that for now, which just goes through and loads all the files. So I'm going to probably say, let's just make a function here that's like load switch or load file or something. Switch to or load file. And that'll pass, you know, one of these things. What's it, a string? There we go. So we'll do a string and then like the file name. And then it'll just do this stuff for us. So then we can just do, oh, hey, yeah, this is just switch to or load file. So it won't like load a file like multiple times or anything weird like that. And then we can just do here like, okay, let's just do a switch to or load file on like everything in Handmade Hero. And we should probably also do directory cd. I'm not sure if that should be like a function or not. Let me see how he kind of did it here. It looks like he does it as a direct call. So I think we want to do something like what he did here, where we just switch to the Handmade Hero directory first. So we would do something like I guess he's got push directory, but honestly, I don't really know what push directory does, because he never pops the directory. Kind of flying a little blind here, but let's just assume that if we push the directory, that's a good thing, and then we do cd to a directory, and I guess we might as well check that because we don't want to load all the files if you know we're not in that directory. We'll switch to w:/handmade, and then after that we'll just try to load all our files. So like we've got handmade code. Oops, sorry. And then I'll just go through here and try to do like a sort of a block copy of everything. There we go. And then in here, I will do a kill. So now we just have the file names, and I'll just load them all. And I'll put it to do Casey really would like wildcard loading here. So if we could get some kind of globbing, that would be great. Which again may already be in there too. I don't know 4coder very well yet, so it could be that it's in there and I just don't know. So switch to or load file, make fixed width string. Then we just do this, and oops, and I forgot a closing parentheses. Never a good idea. Let's try that one more time. Switch to or load file, make fixed width string. There we go. And now we're cooking. So that would load all of the stuff from Handmade Hero, and then we could start editing it immediately and without having to do anything else, right? So that's a pretty handy function as well. Okay, moving along, we've got to do our build, right? And where is that? It should be right here. It's like Casey make without asking. There it is. Save and make without asking. So save and make without asking is supposed to just save everything that we've been working on. Like everything. All files. And then run the build. That seems like it should be pretty straightforward because it looks like we could get all of the buffers. It looks like we could loop through all the buffers, which is really all we need to do that. And so let me see, where was that? I feel like there was a thing for that somewhere. There may not. I don't know if there was example code for it. I know that the API existed, but I just don't know if there was sample code for it. There might not have been. Let's see. Yeah, there might not be. I'm not seeing it. What is if-def off? I'm out of T, by the way. If that's not a crime, I don't know what is. Oh, I see. So basically, like if-def off, you can like take a chunk of code and just surround it in an if block automatically. That's kind of nice. That seems cool. Open long braces. Is that the same thing? Yeah, it's the same thing, but with an if zero. All right, so I'm going to assume that we don't have any sort of sample code for that. So I'm going to look here, and I feel like there's a thing. Yeah, so here we go. So we need to loop over all the buffers, and it looks like we can do that like this. So we say how many are there, how many buffers are there, and then we can say, okay, give me back a particular buffer, right? So I think once we have that, so that we get back the buffer, we should be able to tell that buffer to save itself. So there we've grabbed our buffer, and now we just need some way of telling it, hey man, like we need to save that or something. And so like I don't know if this would actually work, but I guess cmdid save, you know, if this takes a parameter, we could exec it. I don't know if it does. To be completely honest, I really don't. So this is kind of a total shot in the dark here. Because I don't know, is there some way to get the list of parameters for things? Because that would be kind of nice if you could do that, like, you know how Emacs has a thing where you're like describe function, and then you type in whatever the function is, like, you know, self-insert command or something. And it just prints out whatever it is. And then it's kind of nice because when you add functions, you just can put them in there. So you can do like custom command sig or whatever when you're extending things, you know, like that. And when you do like custom command sig, you can, well, so I just realized something that's kind of tricky. So right now we never register our functions, and that is probably something that we would want to do eventually, right? You'd probably want to do like register function, and you'd want to do something like, oh yeah, you know, this is a function, and then I could tell you what it was so that it could be self-documenting, you know? So I can say something like, oh, it's not case you get bindings, that's not a real function. Delete token left. Deletes one token to the left of the input or something, you know. I don't know. But point being, I guess now that I think about it, when we define functions here, these functions aren't really fully formed. Like we don't register them, we don't say what kind of parameters they might take. And so, for example, you know, the ability for someone to come and ship something that you can add as a DLL to your 4coder and then be able to see what it does is sort of hampered a little. So I wonder if that needs to be built out a little. I'm just thinking this is like a far forward thing. I was just like trying to, I try to say everything I think of while I'm on the stream in case it's helpful to Alan for things to think about, if he hasn't already, which he may well have. Okay, anyway, back to our situation at hand. So we get active file view. Oh wait, this is not what I was thinking of. This is we're in the wrong place. This I guess we never debugged. Let's go ahead and grab that. Okay. So is there some way too that we can just condense these two things? By any chance? Like, for example, is there a reason that command context isn't just called like context, and then it's got all of the application links in it, and then also off the bottom of it is all the stuff that you need, so that you only have to pass one thing around? You know what I mean? Because that would be kind of nice. Because it's gonna kind of be annoying to constantly always pass two things when you could just pass one. All right. So anyway, we gotta go address some of the issues here. So let's see. So this is just file name now. Same with here. All of these guys have to do command context and app, like so. And so then here, same thing. Let's see, make fixed, replace it with app command context, make fixed, and just scoot on down. And there we go. Ooh, that's no good. Let's see how that goes. Oh man, did I just do those backwards? I did those backwards. That's pretty dumb. Well, no problem. There we go. Okay. So, we get our buffer, and now the question is, how do we save the buffer? And I don't know. So let's hope that we can do this, and maybe we can. Maybe we can't. When we get the buffer, I'm assuming that we can get the buffer file name somehow. Maybe not. Maybe so, maybe not. I have no idea whether that's true or not. Here is the buffer summary. Here is like the file name information. So in theory, I think I could tell it to save itself by when I do the exec command for save, that when I do this, I can put in here the buffer dot file name and the buffer dot file name len. Right? I'm purely guessing that that's a thing. Why would it want the file name though? Because the buffer already has a file name. So it probably wants something else. Can I pass just a buffer? I can't pass. I don't think I can pass a buffer. I feel like there should be a par underscore buffer there. You know? Because when you op on a buffer, how do you tell it what the buffer is that you were trying to op on? And I don't know. And it looks like it's set up for that, right? Because in here, you've got some stuff. Well, I guess there is no buffer ID, though. But there's a file ID, right? So there is a file ID. But there just isn't a param ID for a file ID. Yeah, that's a stumper. That's a stumper. So I don't think this is going to work. But I don't know how to make it work. So I'm not sure. We're just going to assume Alan will either tell us or say, oh yeah, that's not in yet. One or the other. So that's that. And so then we just need the build part. So let's take a look at how that's supposed to happen. So this looks like switch to compilation and that stuff. This is all the stuff that we need. So I'm pretty sure that all the things we need are already in here. Build at launch location is I guess what we would need there. I can't believe I'm out of tea. Ridiculous. And so yeah. Natural those parcli overlap with conflict. Par name literal. Parcli path, parcli command is build. And so build, I would probably put build.bat in there, I'm guessing. Why is there no .bat anywhere? I guess it just calls something called build that maybe could be an exe or maybe could be a bat. I'm not sure. But anyway, we'll put those in here, and then the build search situation, I assume we basically want the exact same thing. Yeah. I mean, I could just exec these, you know? And that might be the better thing to do. I think for now, I probably just want to do build at launch location. For now. All right. So hey, that's that. And if I go ahead and build this guy, then let's see what happens, because I don't know what's going to happen here. So if I were to do an open and go to Handmade, I guess code. Do we have anything else that we can build besides Handmade? I guess there's Countdown, right? So here's Countdown, the little program that does the little thing before the show. So if I was in here and I want to build, I go to M, and there is, well, that looked like it mostly worked. So that sort of worked, although it looks like doesn't look like I can move the cursor in there, which I guess is possibly intentional. I'm not sure. I am not sure. Let me see. Yeah, because I can move around in here just fine. So it looks like I can't move anything in the inside the build buffer, but I'm not sure why that the cursor is locked there. Because I can click just fine. So you know what? I wonder if the compilation buffer has a special key map that I just don't have anything bound in. That could very well be. So, okay, so it built in the directory that 4coder was launched from, which seems totally reasonable. And I want to build here, so I need some way of it doing the build search part of the process. So I can call the build search the first time when I load. Again, this is kind of a problem with not being able to make a function, because usually what I like to do is I like this to be Casey save and make without asking, and then I like to call build search only when I actually want it to search. You know what I mean? So for now, I guess I could do a key binding to that, because I've got extra keys. So for example, I could make, you know, key 1 be build search. And so make this be just there we go. Of course, I got to close this. Allergy season. It's been like this like for 2 days. It started last night and just kept going. All right, so let's see. What we need to do now is just test that, see if that actually works, which I assume that it does. So let's see here. In the 4coder window, I am going to open... oh, you know what I should do too? I probably should have bound a key to like opening all of the Handmade stuff. But so let's say countdown, and let's open ctray.cpp. Let's call build search, which is just, I guess, 1. Oops, but it's in the modal mode. 1. And that seemed to work just fine, right? And so, yeah, and I think I also can definitively say that there is some bug where when I'm in the modal mode and I go to do something, it always inserts the character that I type as well as doing the action. Unless I've bound something wrong, that seems to be the case. So like from here, if I'm in the modal mode and I do something that would go to the mini buffer, it inserts that key as well. So I think that is a bug, like we were talking about before. All right, so that seems to be working pretty well, actually. And so now we would just need, out of there, we would need to be able to, let's see. We would need to be able to do a few more things. Fill paragraph I don't super care about. Find corresponding file I do care about. That's one's pretty important. And so what find corresponding file does is that's essentially going to do exactly this sort of situation where it gets the name of the buffer. Let's see here. We need the thing that gets the active buffer. Is that called active buffer? Current buffer? Active file view? Get buffer from the file view. Okay, I see how it is. How does... So file view, so there's a view in the file. Okay, I get it. I think I get it. You know, maybe I do, maybe I don't. All right, so if I'm going to find corresponding file, I need to do this stuff. So I need to get the active file view. From the active file view, I don't care about any of this stuff. I just need to get the buffer. Once I have the buffer, now I can figure out what the name is, right? Because this is the buffer name right here. Right? So now I should be able to use the crazy string library thing that's got all this stuff in it, right? And probably do some kind of a string replacement sort of a thing. I don't really know. There's a lot of stuff in here. Let's see. Find subster, compare, remove last folder, make string, mem size. So this seems like it should be good. Like, I just need to do a replace. Aha, to do mem move replacement. Oh wait, no, that's not. So I just need to do a replacement which subster will find the thing that I need. So the only thing I don't know is can I replace the thing easily? Int copy fast unsave, copy append partial, append checked, terminate with null, compare, reverse seek slash. File extensions. I like file extension and file extension slowly. I guess file extension slowly first turns it into a string and then calls file extension. And it's called slowly because it has to run over it twice. Just guessing. Yeah, I don't know. So I don't know how possible it is for me to replace something. I don't see any obvious way to do it. It looks like I can find things really easily. So I'll be able to grab the extension part out very easily, but I can't really tell how I might take that part and replace part of it. Is there like an extract or I don't know. So let me look at the example code and see if there's anything in here that makes sense for that. Def off, right increment. So here's like get extension. Get extension presumably is only used though, although actually it looks like that's implemented twice. So here's get extension, but I assume that this also does that. So this is probably old code here that doesn't actually need to exist anymore because you can get the extension just by doing this. But, so yeah, I mean, essentially this is what I want to do, right? And so in here, what I want to do is something that's like, okay, I've got the extension from this buffer. And then I want to know if it matches, and I think in my Emacs file, like C, what is it, users, KCM, desktop, underscore Emacs is on there somewhere. I think in here somewhere, here it is. So I think I just say, this is like the worst Emacs Lisp ever, because I don't know how to program Emacs Lisp. I think what I want to say is, if it's a C file, a cin, a CPP, those, I don't ever use HPP, so I probably don't even need that. So if it's a C or a CPP file, I just look for an H or an HPP file. If it's a C, or if it's a CN, or I look for an HN. So it's really pretty straightforward. It's just one or the other. So basically all I think I need to do is say, okay, you know, bool is H, and that's just going to be like this sort of thing. String match, extension line. And there's just some ors in here, right? So if it's an HPP or an HIN, then it's an H file. It's a CPP file. I know, you know, we're talking about C, CPP, CN. And then I think INLs, oftentimes I have those lying around. So let's just say is INL as well. So that seems pretty good. And then I can just say, all right, if it's an H, else if it's a CPP. And I think I might wrap that up into a struct or something so that I can use that in other places, is INL. So then at that point, what I would do is switch to buffer, what's it called? We implement it, switch to or load file. I just need to call switch to or load file on the right one of these. So this is just going to be, and I guess now that I think about it, I probably want to just do this as these guys perform whatever the new extension is. So I'll just say like, okay, the new extension is nothing. If it's an H file, the new extension is going to be, I guess we have to try sort of a series of them now that I think about it though, right? Like I have to try this one, try this one, try this one, and so on. So I guess I actually need sort of a count. I need like, you know, extension count and extensions. Right, something like this. And so then I can say, okay, star h extensions. And my h extensions are just going to be h, hpp, hin, and my c extensions, c, cpp, cin. So that seems pretty reasonable for the moment. And so I'll say if it's an h file, the extension count should be the array count of the c extensions, and the extensions should be the c extensions. And this would be the opposite here. And I think this is or an INL in this case. And then so then I would just say for extension index equals extension count plus extension index, and yeah, this is where I would have to do the switch to or load file, and I need a way to do switch to or load file only if that file exists. And I guess I need something slightly different here too, which is a deference to the type that I would create. So basically, if I get to the last one and I haven't found one, then I would create that one. So in switch to or load file, I need something else, which is I need a bool create if not found. And by default, I wouldn't do that. But then if I pass true, it will. So I don't know to do I have to check for existence, or can I pass a parameter to interactive open to tell it to fail if the file isn't there? And I don't know. Right? And so the other thing I don't know is whether the file succeeded. So when I do that, if I call this exec command, do I get back a result from exec command? Because I don't know that either. So let's take a look at exec command. Execute command sig. So I don't get back any information about whether the command did anything. So that's a little tougher too. So that kind of does suggest that I would need to check for the existence there, right? So I would need to call in here, I would need to call directory has file, right? So that's going to be a little bit tricky. So I need to say like, okay, if the buffer exists, then you switch to the buffer. Else, then I got to do some stuff where like, does the directory have this file? And that takes a null terminated string instead of one of the string classes, which does seem a bit odd as well. Like, I feel like that should probably take a string, right? It takes a string for the dir, but not for the file name. Yeah. Okay, so we do file name here, directory has file. And we'd say like, okay, if it does have the file, then we're good. Otherwise, then we have to see, I guess it's if it has a file or create if not found. Because we basically want to say like, if it's got the file, we definitely open it. If you want me to create if it's not found, then we would also open it even if you didn't find it. So off we go. So the only question is, for the directory, I don't actually know which directory we'd be talking about here. So we would need to essentially pass, when we do the switch to or load, we would need to pass in what the directory actually is that we're talking about as well, right? Although it's always kind of going to be implicit in whatever the directory was of the file that we're currently in. So here's the thing, right? We want to call switch to a load file. We want to be able to say what the directory is that we're talking about when we ask about this file name. So we could say that it's always a fully qualified path name, like so that file name is always complete. But I don't know how that interacts with things like this. Like, how would I make sure that this always got expanded? I mean, I put it in the correct directory before I started calling these things, so I guess that means that it's fine. But then when I call directory has file, I don't even know what that necessarily means. I guess that if I was to do... Yeah, I think I just don't understand the directory thing particularly well. So I don't know. I don't really understand exactly how this would have to happen. So I'm going to have to wait and ask Alan about that. But that's okay, because we're basically out of time anyway. So we're almost there. These we know we can't do. I think basically all of these we know we can't do yet. So these are fine. So really tomorrow we'll just try to do these two, and hopefully we can also make this one work. And then we'd basically be done with the stuff that I think we can do. And then these are the guys that we're just going to have to wait for some stuff. We can implement some of them. Like we could implement the thing that does the parsing for this or something. We could implement a little bit of them, but we can't implement the actual part where the interaction happens for some of these. And macros we can't really implement probably at all because those are things that have to be integrated into the core. So we're getting real close. We really could do this. If we do these two tomorrow, then we'd be down to just a few functions, and that would be pretty awesome. All right, so I'm going to wrap it up. I'm going to close this down here. Oh, hello, 4coder. Hello, Mr. 4coder. Let's close that down and go back here. Thank you, everyone, for joining me for another episode of Handmade Hero. Special 4coder edition. If you would like to support the development of 4coder, as I mentioned, you can go to the Patreon page for 4coder, and if you give $1 a month, you get a copy of 4coder. If you give $5 a month or more, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, you get access to the whole extension API that I've been using. So not very expensive. If you're interested in that, if you're interested in playing around with it like we have been, you can check that out. We'll be back tomorrow for our probably last round of 4coder extension work. And so if you'd like to join me for that, that's 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time tomorrow. Hope to see you all here. Until then, have fun coding, and I will see you guys on the internet. Take it easy, everyone.